folks, just a quick video in relation to a question that came up from James Keys. So thanks very much for the question, James. So James's question was, could I do an update of any maintenance issues with the California, and what level is your confidence in the TDI engine and transmission? So a good question, and I'd say from the ongoing videos that I've done, we definitely have had some issues with the van. We've had some kind of ongoing issues, and just recently another trim issue we had inside was you know, the table that you can pull in and out, the one in front of the fridge, so you can pull in and out. So after say 3.5 years of basically pulling it out, now what I would say is you should, when you're pulling the table in and out, what you should do is probably grab the table on both sides like this and pull it out that way. But we haven't. What we've been doing is holding it in the front and then pulling it out that way. And so the trim around the edge came off, and I had to use a bit of glue to glue it back into position again. So, and that was something that's a similar issue that we've had with the trim around the presses and so on. You know, so we've had these kind of ongoing issues with the quality of the trim inside, which is disappointing. And now look, it's wear and tear, but after 3.5 years. But anyway, so and then what I'll do is I'll put links up to the other videos that I've put up with regards to the problems. Now, so obviously the last big one was the AdBlue. We had a problem with that. The whole system had to be replaced, and then we had some engine issues as well. Now that was all last year. We're out of warranty now, so there haven't been, touch wood, there haven't been any issues with the van since, which is good. So, and again, touch wood, not to tempt fate, we haven't had any issues with the gearbox, you know, so we haven't with the automatic transmission, there haven't been any problems. So far the reliability since those repairs and so on has been good. You know, we use the van intermittently, and we don't really tax it a whole lot. That's why having those kind of issues was extremely disappointing, because you know, it's 3.5 years old and it's only coming up on 25,000 kilometers. So to have those kind of problems with it, you know, it's not ideal, it's not great. So, but so far we haven't had any issues, and obviously we have the trip coming up to Italy this summer, and that will involve a good few thousand kilometers of a drive. I suppose it's going to be, well, we could probably easily do 3,000 kilometers. So we'll see now, we'll see, because the last time we took a big drive was when we went to Germany, and that would have been, again, probably 4,000 kilometer trip, and there and back and around and all that kind of stuff. And I think we, when we came back, we noticed there's issues. So those things will, it'll probably, it'll show up if there are any kind of gremlins in the works. Now, I hope there's not, because obviously we're out of warranty and I'd have to pay for the repairs. Now, the VW guys did say to me that if it does run into issues, considering the mileage is so low, that they'd probably do something. But I don't know if I fully believed them. I don't know. You know, I think they make money at fixing these repairs, and you're out of warranty. So, you know, that's the thing. Okay, so to kind of put it into context, what I did was I wrote down a list here of all the cars I've ever owned, just to kind of put it into context of, say, problems with engines. Now, so my first car I bought was in the year 2000. Now, I've never owned a second-hand car, right? Every car I've ever had, I've either bought myself new, like brand new, or the job I have worked in has provided me with a new car. So I've never had any issues. Now, it's not like I'm not bragging or anything like that. I'm not saying that, you know, I've only ever owned new cars and I have some issue with second-hand cars. I don't. It's just the way things have kind of worked out for me. But also, I'm a child of the 70s, and I do have a bit of a hang-up, just a slight hang-up with buying second-hand cars, which is a bit ridiculous, because, to be honest, second-hand cars, you know, cars are relatively well made now, so I shouldn't have any kind of issues with it. But I do have this kind of thing. I prefer new. I like the whole idea of a warranty, but the trade-off is you're paying a small fortune for a brand new car, whereas with a second-hand car, you get the benefit of the depreciation in that it is a cheaper vehicle. Any issues probably have been worked out, but then the downside is there's more wear and tear depending on the mileage, right? And I never really wanted to kind of have to deal with those kind of issues. Vanessa always would buy a second-hand car, except the last one that she got was new, and she's never really had any kind of issues. And I know the market in Ireland is, at the moment, for second-hand cars coming into the UK is massive. So it's obviously a very viable thing, but I just want to put it into context because every car, including the California, was brand new. And so the point being is that brand new cars do come with issues. It's like any brand new technology. You'll always have some kind of problems. And like I'm videoing this on the Panasonic GH5 and there's problems with the focus. When you buy a drone, you expect kind of issues. It's usually the second generation kind of irons out the things. Okay. So 2000 Toyota Yaris, no issues. Okay, so I had no issues with that car whatsoever. I did have one thing where a bus hit a traffic cone and sent it into the side of the car and it had to be repaired. But other than that, no issues, no faults. 2002, a Toyota Corolla, no issues. Okay. 2005, I bought a Toyota Avensis. And I had issues with the automatic gearbox. Very quickly, there was a problem with the engines. It was just coming up with some fault, and I had to go back. But they had the Avensis for about 6 weeks, trying to fix the engine issues. Right. So that's my first instance of my idea being that brand new cars shouldn't have any problems. Right. So that was my first car with a problem. 2006 VW Passat. So. The Avensis was a company car. The Passat was a company car. The Passat had an oil leak. Brand new car, had an oil leak, and what it was doing was burning oil. It was constantly having to top up oil into the engine. And when I contacted VW, they said to me that that's normal and stuff like that. And I was going, that's ridiculous, right? But the engine the company were saying that was normal. I was going, I don't think so. And that it was a wearing in issue and stuff like that. But no, that was rubbish, right? Okay, so I only had that car for a year because I changed jobs and I got a Ford Mondeo, a brand new Ford Mondeo. No issues with the Ford Mondeo. 2011, I got a Skoda Superb. There was no issues really with the engine or transmission or anything like that. I did run into one strange problem where the aircon filter got infected with some kind of or something like that. And when you would turn on the aircon, you'd get the smell of kind of dirty socks coming through. And they said that can happen. Strange one, but that's what happened. But other than that, no issues. And so the car was very reliable. And then in 2015, I got a Ford Mondeo. And the Ford Mondeo suffered last year with an oil leak. So, and I'd say that was probably just due to wear and tear. And also there was an ECR issue. So there was some kind of engine management problem as well I had last year that was fixed under warranty. Not my car, it's a company car. So just to put it kind of into context, you can see I've had a range. Like I obviously have that when I was my first cars, I liked Toyota, and then I moved to Passat, and then I've had Ford Mondeo. So it's been Toyota, VW, or Ford, and like they have a lot of issues there, a lot of issues. And now we have the van, and we've had a lot of issues with the van. So to answer your question, James, I think my level of confidence is high, but I think I realistically now expect that when you do buy a brand new van or a brand new car, rightly or wrongly, you do expect issues with it. That's why they give you a warranty, because I think they anticipate it themselves. And then hopefully what they do is within that 3-year period, because again, the mileage is quite low in the van, that what you're able to do is just through wear and tear or mileage, by building up your mileage, any kinks and issues get ironed out. And then you have a long period of no issues, no faults with the engine is what I should say, and the gearbox. Now there are obviously over time with wear and tear and so on, things will have to be replaced, and that's okay. You expect that. It's part of owning a vehicle, the same way when you use fuel, you have to replace the fuel. That's part of it. The gearbox, I find it very good. We've had no issues. It's a DSG, that dual system. And I find it very good. There's no problems with it. It's very reliable so far. And but the engine, we definitely have had some kind of problems with it. So hopefully going forward, what I'd like to see is going forward that we get, because again, I'd like to keep the van for the rest of my life, I suppose. And what I'd like to see is that the van settles down into having no issues and that it becomes reliable. But I don't know what's going to happen. And obviously, if we do have any kind of issues, what I'll do is I will put up a video on it. So hopefully that's answered your question in relation to that. And just to, that's what I was just really trying to do, just trying to put it into a bit of context. There's probably people out there who probably buy secondhand vans and have absolutely no issues with it. But I just think engines these days, are just so technologically advanced, you know, and all the things that they do, that, you know, you are going to run into issues from time to time. You know, so whereas I think older, simpler vans, well, my understanding is that older, simpler vans, they're easier to maintain and easier to fix yourself, but they definitely run into definitely run into issues as well. So that's really it. Hopefully this answered your question, James. And again, thanks very much for the question. So if anyone else has any kind of questions in relation to the van, feel free to stick them in the comments. Okay, thanks a million. Bye.